Hey there, and welcome back to the Fat Loss Over 40 series. This is part 4, Chill Out to Slim Down. And honestly, this may be my favorite yet. If you've been following the first 3 episodes, getting your protein, training those muscles, and getting your nutrients dialed in, you're probably already starting to feel the magic. But here's the kicker. If you're doing all of that right and still not seeing that needle move, this is the missing piece. Today we're talking about stress, the nervous system, and how to flip your biology into fat burning mode without needing another supplement, spreadsheet, or shame spiral. So take a deep breath and let's dive in. Hello and welcome to the Fat Loss Over 40 series. I'm Dr. Jae Hitson. We are now in part 4, Chill Out to Slim Down. Of this 5-part series, this is my favorite episode. Because especially at this point, those of you who have been working on parts 1, 2, and 3, you've been getting your calories right, you're getting your protein intake, and you're working those muscles. You are more than likely already going to be seeing the results. But this one, part 4, if you're missing this key factor, it could be siphoning away some of those results. And furthermore, if you are doing all of those other things right and still not getting results, chances are this is where you're going to find the solution. So today, we are going to be talking about rest and relaxation. But I want to be clear, I'm not talking about rest cycles. Rest and recovery is something that really doesn't factor in until you get into those last few pounds, or if you're trying to get into that ultra lean shape, like whenever people are entering fitness competitions, bodybuilding contests, or even endurance events. That requires a whole other level of precision as to how you go about your training. And frankly, that is not our goal here. This is about feeling fabulous at any age. Now, we are going to be talking about stress, but let me tell you, I am so tired of everything you read of how stress can cause this, stress can keep you fat, stress can keep you from living your dreams. I mean, cliches are no longer cutting it. So today we're going to be giving science a chance. So jumping in, we are talking about the nervous system, and specifically the autonomic nervous system that has 2 parts, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. But for simplicity's sake, from now on, we're going to refer to it as fight or flight or rest and digest. When your body is in fight or flight, it does not want to release fat. And the reason for this is really simple. If you're being chased by a tiger, you need fat as a fuel source. So when you go into fight or flight, your body likes to store up fat. Now, this isn't a big deal if you're only going into fight or flight for that, 5 to 10 minutes while you are being chased by the tiger. Because again, if you're being chased by a tiger, you're actually going to burn off that fat. But here's the problem. Today, we are going into fight or flight sitting at our computer desk, having an argument with our spouse, or just driving down the highway. We're not burning that fat that we're piling up. And the other problem is we used to go into fight or flight only for those few moments that we were, escaping imminent danger. Now we're going into fight or flight for hours and days. And some of us are, let's be honest, we're going on decades. Now, if you are doing the other 3 parts of this series, you're actually going to have less issues with fight or flight. Number 1, if you're getting that nutrient-dense diet, well, you're going to have more resources to cope. If you started to take in those proteins, well, now your metabolism is shifting and you're burning at a new rate. And if you're building that muscle that we talked about in part 3, well, that exercise is a perfect cortisol reset. And while we're on that topic, let's talk about cortisol. Most of us think of cortisol, we think of high cortisol like, new stress. But here's what I am finding on so many people's labs is that their stress levels have been so high for so long, now they're just getting depleted. So instead of now having high cortisol levels, they actually have very low, like bottomed out, like burn out cortisol. This says a lot about how much stress your body has been enduring. I can't encourage you enough to get your cortisol checked, especially if you're having issues with losing weight. If you're a patient of mine, your cortisol is at the very bottom of your panel. You can have cortisol checked via blood or saliva. I prefer to use blood checks for cortisol just because it's more easy and efficient, but there is really solid data showing that the saliva testing is a bit more precise. Now, here's what you need to know about fight or flight. If you are in fight or flight, then you are not in the other side of the nervous system, which is rest and digest. So if you are not resting and digesting, then you're not absorbing. And frankly, you're sabotaging steps 1 and 2 that we discussed in the earlier part of the series. So even if you are eating this very low calorie but nutrient rich diet, if you're in fight or flight, you're not absorbing it. And what's going to happen is you're going to trigger hunger signals because while you did eat, Your body didn't absorb the nutrients, so it's still hungry. Now, unfortunately, it did absorb the calories, so those all get converted over to fat. And when you're in these stress states, it is so common for people to experience what's considered emotional eating. And that's where you're just soothing yourself with food. You're really not hungry. Now, I bet there's more than a few of us out there who, when we're super stressed, we actually don't want to eat. We actually get kind of nauseous with it. That's part of that whole fight or flight response. Well, here's the flip side. When that pressure starts to come off a little bit, we become feed me Seymour. And the body starts wanting to replenish its reserves. And this is where we see people whose weight just starts bouncing all over the place. So what do? You start with steps 1, 2, and 3 of this series, because that's going to give you the fighting chance to actually start to combat some of these fight or flight symptoms. But here's one very simple thing. Breathing. One of my favorite breathwork exercises is box breathing. By simply practicing box breathing for about 30 seconds, you can actually flip your system from fight or flight into rest and digest. It's really an incredible hack. For those of you unfamiliar with box breathing, it's basically a 4 count. So you breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, 3, 4, breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, 3, 4, and you repeat that 2 or 3 times. It's a way to trick your nervous system into believing that we are calm and composed. Now, if you're somebody who knows fight or flight is a regular problem for you, how we balance the scales back out over into the sympathetic, into the rest and digest, is by regularly spending time actively seeking that sympathetic state. So most of the people that I work with and most of the people who follow me, we're busy people. We don't have a ton of time and we have go, 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 go lives. So the idea of like going on a weekend long retreat to get back to your Zen, it may not be possible. So this is an exercise that I've been utilizing with individuals for years with a lot of success. So I want you to get out a pen and paper and I want you to write down 1 minute. And what you're going to do is you're going to list off the things that you can do in 60 seconds that can actually decompress, can actually relax your system, even just a little bit. I just gave you one. Box breathing. Another example may be drinking an herbal tea. The smell and the warmth can be very, very soothing. Some people will put on some music. Other people have found aromatherapy to be incredibly soothing. Whatever will work for you, just write it down. Now I want you to write down 15 minutes. And what we're going to do is go through all of the different things that you can do that puts you into that sympathetic state, that puts you into a rest and relaxation state that you can do in 15 minutes. A great example here would be go for a walk. You can do some powerful meditation in under 15 minutes. Or maybe you're at work and just standing up, getting away from your desk, and doing a lap around the office. Sometimes that's enough to reset your system. Now let's do the same thing if you have an hour. If you found yourself with 1 hour in your day, what could you do that would be therapeutic for your body? Maybe go and exercise, get a massage, hop in the sauna. See, the point of all of this is that each and every one of us has these hidden gems of time throughout our day, but because we're under so much stress and pressure, we just think of the next thing I need to be doing, which unfortunately only enhances that fight or flight. And there are times when life surprises us with these hidden 15 minutes that we weren't expecting. And instead of going to the next task, go to your rest and relaxation list. What wonderful little luxury could you indulge in this next 15 minutes that can actually reset your system? Now, I'm going to encourage you to continue on this exercise to also figure out what would you do with a half a day, a whole day, a weekend, a whole week. Here's the sad thing that I've seen time and time again. So many of these wonderful, ambitious, high-achieving people, when they get blessed with an entire weekend to themselves, what do? They pile on more work. Really think ahead. What could you do that could restore your soul? And I'm going to encourage you, keep this list on your phone, because here's what happens. All of a sudden, all these appointments got canceled and you ended up with like 3 hours all to yourself. Well, when you don't have this written down, you end up spending almost the entire 3 hours still trying to figure out what should I do with my time. And then before you know it, your 3 hours is up and you're back into your life. This has been like one of my treasures. When I get just blessed with one of those unexpected intervals of time, flipping over to my list, finding my favorite flavor, and just giving my system a chance to recalibrate. You need to invest in getting yourself out of fight or flight and into rest and digest. And this isn't just about your weight. This is about being a healthy and happy whole person. Now, for those of you who are under excessive stress and you know it is impacting your body's ability to release fat, there are all kinds of therapy and counseling programs that can help you rework your life and your schedule. But for those of you who've tried that already, I'm going to encourage you to check into our advanced program called biorecoding. It's all about rewiring our destructive patterns. See, our bodies are actually designed to positively reinforce healthy habits. Think of brushing your teeth. Can you imagine going a day without brushing your teeth? You're positively reinforced for that healthy habit. These habits are wired like this. They're easy and automatic. But see, along the way, some negative patterns get programmed in, and they unfortunately get reinforced and they kind of hijack our systems. And the key is to identify these and recode them. Anyone who ever used to drink a ton of soda and now can't stand the taste of it, you know what I'm talking about. You've already done a biorecode. Something that you used to crave now has no pull on you. And further yet, the more and more you do this, you really begin to crave the good things and you're repelled by the bad. If you want to learn more about how to get that to work for you, just click on the link in our description. This same biorecode is what I've seen work for so many people who have persistent sleep issues. When you've tried all that and you've seen the specialist, you've done the pills, and still nothing's working, biorecoding is awesome. So to summarize, the key steps to fat loss after 40 comes from how you're using your calories, very nutrient-dense foods, getting the protein for your metabolism, and then building that muscle to create the burn. But if you aren't resting and relaxing, if you're not in that rest and digest sympathetic nervous system mode, you're not going to get the same level of results, if any. So you need to flip that script. Now, if you haven't already, download the Fat Loss After 40 guide so you can have all your baseline set. But if you're interested in biorecoding, check out the link in the description. And please join me for part 5 as we uncover the final mystery in the Fat Loss Over 40 series. So there you have it. Stress equals fat hoarding, calm equals fat releasing. And listen, I get it. You're busy. You've got a lot to take care of. But even 60 seconds of box breathing a day can shift your biology in the right direction. So just start there and then build your custom chill out plan, because this is more than about fat loss. This is about quality of life. And don't forget to download the Fat Loss Over 40 guide so you can get all the insider's information on how to set up your perfect plan. And next up is part 5, the final piece of the puzzle, where we tie everything all together. And until then, take a deep breath. We'll see you next time.